It's here. Alright guys, I'm Jay, and I have with me the OrangeModWorks Solid Stage 2 kit for the Elite Alpha Trooper. I am super duper excited for this. It took forever. I will admit it did take a long time for this to come out, but I hope it's worth it. This will be going into my handy dandy trusty Tiger Shark. This thing has held up incredibly well. It's already got the Stage 1 kit in it, and I'm excited to see what's in the Stage 2 kit. So let's dive down. I'm going to use my head mount with my GoPro, and we'll take a look at what's in the box, and then we'll show you how to install it. Alright guys, so apparently I forgot my GoPro mounts at home at one point, so I don't have those right now, so I'm just going to use my normal camera. So, to get right into it, let's open this up and see what we have inside. Oh, it all comes in this. Apparently it came open, so there's that. So let's just dump it out then, I guess. And this is what we have. So let's put that to the side for now. So, excuse me, we have a bolt sled, which is incredibly sturdy. We have a plunger, and we have a breech. And all of it's very sturdy, but I will say that the construction of it seems a little bit sloppy. Like I don't know, hopefully it chambers well. Let's snag this dart over here just to see what the fit is like. It's actually a pretty loose fit. So it should chamber well. This is the metal trigger, which I'm very excited about. I love, if there's one thing that I really love from OrangeModWorks, it is the metal triggers. And these things, they feel great, they look cool, and they work incredibly well. So, also included is a thing of silicone grease, a spring for the trigger, a rod for the breech and bolt sled, stickers, and 2 O-rings. One small for the back of the breech, and one large for the plunger head. So, next step then would be to take apart your blaster, which I will do off camera because it's fairly obvious how you should do that. Okay, so got the blaster open, everything's all good. So for me personally, I dremeled down the top of this, the top of the bolt sled right here. I dremeled that down. I'm actually not certain if I'm going to do that again with this one, or if I'm going to Dremel the actual jam door down on the bottom. I think I might do that because I'd rather not compromise the structural integrity of this thing, of the bolt sled. So yeah. Alright, so what you want to do is get your blaster open, get everything that is going to be replaced out of the blaster. So first, let's start by removing the spring. We'll be putting the spring in last. It is important to note that I already have the 5 kilogram spring and Stage 1 kit from OrangeModWorks. So I'm going to take this out for now because it's going to get in the way. We're going to need the plunger too, and I'm probably going to clean it off a bit, but basically just so to get the plunger out, you just start by on one side and just slowly pry until it pops out. Be gentle with this stuff. Be very gentle. You don't want to crack anything because, I mean, in the event that something fails, you could always have spare parts to put back in. And I have to say that while my Retaliator failed pretty drastically under the stress of the 5 kilogram spring, the Alpha Trooper plunger has really held up quite well. So, and that's probably due to a lack of dry firing. Don't dry fire, guys. It'll ruin your blasters. So I'm going to take this trigger out as well. And it's kind of a shame because I painted the trigger blue, but I think the metal triggers really look absolutely fantastic in here. For some reason, it looks like this trigger spring is pretty big. So I'm going to investigate that real quick. I read complaints on the forum about someone else having that same issue, but it looks like it'll be about the size. It was a length issue, though, that was the problem. So let's quickly find the trigger. It's really big. And down something goes. Yes, that is too short. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to want to use the stock trigger spring. It might not be the strongest, but the spring that they give you with this is a little bit too short. Oh, that'll work fine. That's not a problem at all. Next, what you want to do is remove the bolt sled from the body of the blaster, and this is, you got to do a little bit of maneuvering to get it out, but once you get it out, there we go. Just twist it around a couple times, and you're going to need this entire piece right here. So this screw and this rod are very important. And so one of the issues is that trying to get this screw into the OrangeModWorks bolt sled for the Massacre kits for the original Alpha Trooper ended up resulting in not a very good time. I don't know how else to describe it. So let's see how this goes. So it fits in nicely. I don't know if there's threading in there already, so I'm assuming that we'll have to create our own thread. So let's... Oh, well, that worked surprisingly well. I was expecting a much bigger hassle. So that's a plus. So you're going to want to put this rod in. I've actually taken out all the locks from my Elite Alpha Trooper. So if you want to do the same, I recommend it personally. Just to make sure you don't double load. Alright, next thing we got to do is attach the breech to the bolt sled, which is very simple. You take the breech and the bolt sled, you put them together, then you take the little rod and you put it in the holes. Funny story, actually. I was trying to mod a Quick 16, I believe, and I was trying to get the metal rod out of the bolt sled, and I was using my Leatherman, and I was trying to punch through it, and I was holding it like this, and I punched through so hard that the metal rod went like a solid 1/4 inch into my finger. That was pretty brutal, actually. I was not expecting it. Alright, be sure to get our fingers out of the way for this. That's definitely the most injured I've ever got trying to mod a blaster. It was surprising, and it bled a lot. But like, I didn't lose a finger, which is good. Let's try and squeeze that in a little bit, if we can. And make sure that the rod is pretty even on both sides. It's kind of sticking out to one side. They didn't make this rod very long. They should have made it a bit longer, in my opinion. I don't know why they didn't. And that should be alright. I'm a little worried that it's kind of stuck on one side, but it seems to hold up just fine. If it becomes an issue, I'll go back and fix it, but for now, it should be fine. So, you got your breech together. Next step is to get your plunger into the plunger tube. So what we need to do now, take our O-ring, place that on the plunger. It's all very complicated. Take your silicone grease. I love this stuff, by the way. This stuff is so easy to use. Puncture it with the top of the cap and just add a nice healthy coating to the O-ring. Put the cap back on. And then squeeze that plunger back into the plunger tube. There we go. Move it around a little bit. Seal isn't as great as I expected it would be. I figured out why. You gotta be very gentle with the O-ring, because when you put it in, it's going to want to pop out of its groove. It's a very thick O-ring. So just be very, very gentle. There we go. 100% seal. See that? No air leakage. That's what you want. Now that that's together, we can put the O-ring on the back of the breech. This little sucker right here. Just slip that on. And this one needs to be stretched a bit, so be careful and don't stretch it too hard. Ta-da. Take your silicone grease again. We're going to be using a lot of this because I have a painted blaster and I want things to run as smoothly as possible. Add healthy coating to that. Test it out. Ooh, that's very nice. Alright. Cool. So that's perfect. Next, what you want to do, you want to try and put the bolt sled back in. But first, since we're already working with our silicone grease, let's grease up this side. So when the bolt sled is upright, it's the right side of the bolt sled. Let's grease up that rail nice and good. Just add a ton of it. You can be very liberal with this stuff. Now let's try and maneuver this back into place. It's more of an art than a science to get this thing back in. Gotta like spiral it around a bunch of times. There we go. Perfect. Now that should be sliding smoothly. I seem to be dropping stuff all over the place today. The thing I like about the Elite Alpha Trooper is that you don't particularly need a forward locking mechanism just because you have this little nub on the jam door piece. And that locks things into place, and that's really nice. Let's go ahead and silicone grease the other side of the rail now. Let's take our plunger tube. Alright, everything's looking pretty good. Alright, so I've successfully dremeled out the bottom of the jam door, which is what I figured I would need to do. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend dremeling anything with the bolt sled just because you don't want to compromise the integrity. Next, we put the metal trigger catch back in, and we'll leave the spring out for the moment just while we try to reinstall it. And then that's all you need to do. The thing I love about OrangeModWorks parts is that it's just dropping components. So if you're just starting out with modding and you're just trying to get some more oomph out of your stock blasters, then OrangeModWorks is the way to go. I love their stuff. It takes a while sometimes for them to get you stuff, specifically with this because they changed manufacturers. So they were going through a little bit of turmoil with getting that all worked out, but I hopefully, I think that things are getting sorted out now, and hopefully things will be better and more expedient. Yes, that's a good word for it. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this back together and tell you my thoughts on how it performs. Alright guys, so it's all back together now. I've got about 10 darts in this 18 dart clip right now. You can still load with the breech closed. The prime is very smooth. Chambering is smooth. Firing is powerful. And I love being able to cycle through with the jam door open just so I can tell when I'm out, so I don't dry fire, because dry firing is bad. Interestingly enough, it sits kind of at an angle. I don't know if you can see that, but it sits at an angle to the receiving end of the breech, but it chambers fine. So the construction of it is a little bit wonky. Let me snag this dart here. It chambers nicely though, and it functions really well. So, I mean, for that, I'm very impressed. Hopefully, now that OrangeModWorks has settled on a manufacturer, things will start to pick up in terms of speed of orders. I love the metal trigger. This thing works really well. Hopefully, they'll come up with a sealed breech for this soon, because that's what I'm really hoping for. And if it's anything like the Retaliator one, it'll be really, really cool. So I definitely like this. This is the next step up from the Stage 1 kit. This is the Stage 2 kit, which logically makes sense. So yeah, overall I like this. I pre-ordered this during the summer, so I waited a long time for this. Did it live up to expectations? Yes. Yes, I think it did. We'll see how it performs in actual Nerf events. But until then, I really like it, and I think it works well. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, remember to subscribe if you like what you see. Also, check out my Facebook page. Just type in JNerf on Facebook and you'll find me. Yeah, so remember, mod at your own risk. Modding can potentially damage the internals of the blaster, so don't blame me if you break your blaster, because it's not my fault, it's yours. Bye, guys.